My name is Gaurav. Uh, I have the opportunity to run ShareChat and Moj for all things monetization. Uh, what I'm going to tell you today is probably your own experience, your own behavior, the behavior of your partner, the behavior of your spouse, children, your manager, your boss, your CEO, everyone, right? Which is, I'm preaching to the converted that short form video boom has taken India and the world like never before. Um, can I have a hand mic? Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. So we are here to talk about how short form video has taken over the world. If you observe your own behavior, chances are you are watching a short form video right now, or you are about to create one at the end of the day. And this phenomena is not only restricted to India, but globally, right? We've all heard of this amazing company called ByteDance, which revolutionized this short form video algorithms through their app called TikTok. We saw a lot of other American big tech companies playing almost a catch up on this. You may call it reels, you may call it shorts, you may call it by whatever name depending on the country. So there's no point in telling all of you that the future is not short form video, it is actually the present. If somebody tells you it is the future, they're probably living in the past actually. The consumers have moved on. I think what we are here to tell you about is the whole marketing industry, and this is globally, right, and the brands and marketeers like yourself actually are now playing a catch-up to the consumers. Gone are those days, of course, when there is concentrated family viewing on television. Gone are those days when somebody is using their smartphone to watch a 20-minute video. Today's consumer across all ages, by the way, it is not only about Gen Zs or millennials. In fact, the boomers, our parents' generation also now prefer to consume information, entertainment, anything, in fact, news also through a short form video. Tell me what you want to convey in 30 seconds and I'm out. We at ShareChat and Moj have been building it out for India, from India for the last 10 years now. ShareChat was founded in 2015 with a single mission that social media is so cultural, it is so important to all of us that an American company cannot solve it. This is what the vision of the founders was 10 years back, and this is what the vision of the founders and the company is today. Can we build something which is very, very nuanced to the India consumers? Can we not only think about the top 50 million high ARPU customers in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, but can we build for tier 2 and tier 3 India? And that is what we will talk about today. Needless to say, we are today's India's largest short form video destination. About 30 crore people come to our platforms on a monthly basis. This would put us right up in the league of any big tech company you could think of, right? The time spent on the platform actually is a bit outdated, as seen on the slide, because as you would imagine, when the algorithms keep improving day on day, when the machine can show you the next best video and sort of keep you engaged, this time spent actually keeps on increasing every month on month, quarter on quarter. But what is it in for you as marketeers? I think the number one thing that short form video does is actually brand discovery. Imagine you have no particular intent while browsing through endless videos of short form videos. And there is a brand that suddenly comes up, showcases its proposition, showcases its pricing. It could be a product or a service. And then you suddenly discover that brand, right? You do not make the purchase there, you do not complete your intent because you did not have any particular intent of doing that. But what happens is it definitely registers in your head and then a few hours or a day later, you actually end up making the purchase of that. The power of discovery is by far the largest use case that we have seen of brands leveraging short form videos. Uh, it leads from a research to delivery. It actually is turning out to be the ultimate discovery engine for brands, creator, and content. Three distinct things, right? Uh, and what we have seen and what we advise companies of all sizes, right from the largest FMCG company in India to a small coffee shop owner or somebody selling hair oils online, is that you should have an always on short form video strategy because it depends on, it leans heavily on brand discovery. If you're not present, if you're not making content, if your influencer is not talking about it on a regular basis, chances are that people will forget about your brand or service. And the one big message that I want to leave with all of you today is an always on strategy on short form video is probably the single most important thing that you can do when leveraging the power of this. These are some of the numbers. Again, all of you already know this. I'm not the first one telling you this. Tier 2 and beyond India is witnessing an explosion in internet consumption, in purchasing power, in possibly all metrics that you can imagine. Your next consumer, I can promise you, no matter what you are selling, is not coming from a Gurgaon, is not coming, the new consumer is not coming from a Mumbai, but is probably coming from a tier 2 city. Depending on what reports you read on the India consumption market, it is estimated that about 75% of consumption economy in India is actually tier 2 and beyond. So this is not internet of 2005 or 2015, wherein it is metro, it is mail, it is English. It is exactly opposite of that. Thankfully, the gender inclusion on internet is much, much better than in real world. Of course, there is much more work that needs to be done. There are way more women on internet because it is just easy to consume. You can be your authentic self. Most of the people on internet today are actually not consuming content in English or Hindi. And it doesn't mean that I'm not comfortable with that language. So Gaurav, during the day, may use English as his mode of communication. But when I'm leaning back at the end of the day and I want to be entertained or I want to know what my nano influencers said today, it could probably be my local language. And that is what is driving the internet of today. And like I said, always on is probably the single easiest thing that you can do. By the way, we are not only pitching for ads, right? It means that does your social media team consistently post content which is organic, but which is utilizing short form videos. Remember, short form video is not a loosely done edit of a long form film. It needs to be shot in vertical. It needs to be built for sound off, because I can assure you that some of you right now are watching a short form video with the sound off, and that's absolutely okay. Always on also builds trust. You do not come across as a brand or a service that was a flash in the pan, but you sort of build trust over time when you are consistently appearing on people's feeds. It is estimated that India will have 1 billion people on internet soon. Again, it could be 2028, it could be 2030, I don't know. But imagine 1 billion people with smartphones in their hand, with a service like UPI enabling seamless financial transaction online. Most of these people consuming content in the language of their choice, and the surface on which they consume this content is not long form but short form. And now if you think of all these 4 things and imagine your brand not having a strategy, it probably will not make a lot of sense. The other thing I want to leave you with is creators, right? And all of us, again, know about this. The only nuance I want to add is that when we think of creators, there are a few names that would have popped up in all of your minds. Uh, Kusha Kapilas of the world and mostly Saints of the world. They are doing fab job. All power to these women. But what is happening in India in tier 2 and tier 3 is not only the big Bollywood stars or the big cricket celebrities or the mega influencers, but the trust in local regional influencers who you can very closely relate with. Because not only do they speak the language that you speak, but they also probably live in the same area. The background of their houses is very similar to what probably a user's own experience in the house is. And when that individual creates something with the name of a brand, the impact on the real business is just unprecedented. These are some of the case studies. All publishers do this, right? So the team has put together how a leading OEM player in the smartphone industry actually leveraged the creators to drive everything from top level brand consideration to the actual purchase. This is a slight digression from the core ads that we are talking about, right? How many of you have heard of live streaming by influencers? Influencers going live stream, of course, and all of us are aware how big this has become in China, especially with live shopping experience, right? In India, actually, the story is slightly different. What we are experiencing in India is something which is very unique, right? And ShareChat and Moj, in fact, are leaders on this. What ends up happening over a period of time is that users develop this sort of a bond with their creators. And the bond is so strong that imagine a nano influencer taking her camera to inauguration of a Ayodhya Mandir, right? And people would consume that video, and as a way of gratitude towards her or to their belief in God, they would end up giving some sort of a 50 ShareChat coins to that creator, right? And these coins are real money, and this has become actually a very, very large business for us. We are actually the market leaders on this because, like I said, we are tackling a problem which the large big tech companies would never even think of, right? And that is why we have really built this out. We own about 3/4 of this market in India. Trust me, if you get to know the numbers on this, these are very, very surprising numbers. Now, why am I telling you this? I think as marketeers, you hear a lot of social media platforms talk about their breadth of creators and how creators impact real business. This probably is one objective way to also measure the real bond between the creators and the users. Because if somebody is so attached to their creators that they end up paying real money, imagine what happens when the same creator talks about your brand. And that's why I thought I should bring this up today. Creators, of course, love us. We've been building this out now for 10 years plus, which means there's a concentrated, thought-out strategy within the company to onboard these creators on the platform, train them, help them with all the monetization opportunities, and there is no reason why hundreds of thousands of creators are on ShareChat and Moj today, with our platform being the primary platform for them. Now, what primary means is essentially most of their viewership or monetization actually comes from us, which makes it a very, very strong use case when you are thinking of what is the roster of influencers I should enroll to push out my message. Okay, another sort of FMCG product, very focused towards women, and how this company achieved brand engagement on ShareChat network. The numbers are out there. Again, the larger message being that it is not only about the mega celebrities throwing out your message, but also about very, very very on ground people who tier 2 and tier 3 India very genuinely relates with. The third thing that we wanted to talk about, I'm sure all of you have as marketeers have heard of this thing called festive planning. Have you heard of that? Festive planning ho gaya, right? And essentially what we are being almost brainwashed into thinking is that festive is a euphemism for Diwali planning, right? Which almost assumes, and this is a very American way of looking at India, saying that there is one festival in India and have you done your festive planning? Which is not completely false. I completely agree. There is a lot of purchase that happens during the months of October and November in India. But it happens only during that period is a bit of an outsider's view. What we all know, even in this room, is that we Indians love to celebrate according to our region, our culture, our languages, right? And that is exactly what we see on our platform. So what we have shown you is a baseline daily active users and sort of a spike that comes on our platform whenever there are these micro festivals. In fact, I hate the word micro festival. These are not micro, right? These are 50, 60 million people celebrating a particular thing, probably 10x the size of Singapore, right? So these are not micro festivals, but these are Indians going online and celebrating their own festival, which is not Diwali. Now again, why am I giving you this festive calendar gyan? Is because the next time when you are thinking about festive planning, take a moment and reflect on this graph and think about how you can have a year-long festive planning. Which means if you know there is a Guru Purab coming in a particular month, can you design your marketing communication in that language and utilize the spike in engagement on social media platforms along with the propensity for people to spend during that period, right? Chances are the community which celebrates Guru Purab is also spending, shopping, buying things during that period. And if you're not leveraging that, not using the local language, not using the regional influencer, you're probably missing out on a lot of things. My time's up, so, and it'll also be ironical to talk about short form things in a longish presentation. Just leaving you with a few ideas that we spoke about. Tier 2, Tier 3 India, of course, is the cornerstone of India's consumption economy. Regional language is not an also-have strategy, but a must-have strategy. Remember, the next time you are celebrating anything apart from Diwali, and hopefully you are recalled of that slide that we presented saying, am I designing my marketing strategy according to this? Always on in short form video is probably the easiest thing you could start with. It need not be paid to begin with. It could be organic, but an always on definitely works. With that, we'll close this. Of course, the team and I are present. We also have some sort of a booth. Come to ask. Some of the things that I didn't touch consciously in this is the harder questions on how do you measure the impact of this. We have made some progress in this. Happy to share some of the results. Happy to take feedback and learn from it. But I'll end with saying we truly believe that short form has a big impact, and hopefully you are also convinced by that. Thank you.